the reason or will be the key to thrive in business. But the question is, for many of us here are not engineers and technical. Is this concept confined only in the world of engineering, in technology, and such kind of industries? Let me assure you that this concept is applicable to all forms of business and to all would-be entrepreneurs. Furthermore, we can convert these problem-solving skills into profitable commercial activity. And not only that, the question is how can we monetize this activity handsomely? Let me show you. First, let's look for a problem. Can you first you look for a problem, and this requires a keen observation, research, okay, and a personal experience. We have to see these things very, very intently. And problems arise in various forms, including insufficiencies, in experiences, in different places everywhere around you. And the problem is, many aspiring young entrepreneurs passionately create a product. Okay, when you create a product or services, customers would come. Iniisip ng marami, dala ako ng product, the customers will come. This is not so. If it is not serving any problem, it will bring just a short-lived fad and it will slowly fade away. Why? Because it is detached from something that is selling and tangible, and it is not solving any problem or addressing any need. Let me share my experience on the aspect of looking for problems. In the late 1990s, there was a lot of building construction going around here in Davao City. As a structural engineer myself, I was trained to design buildings and make it so to withstand the forces of nature, bagyo, lindol, typhoons, and everything. However, in those days, in the 1990s, we had enough information about the ground on which the building would be constructed on. Buildings are usually constructed in locations where the sea is problematic, where it is sinking, where it is tilting, where the slopes are sliding. And generally, what engineers do is they will make assumptions because of lack of data, and then prove that the assumptions were correct. And then try hard as much as they could so that the building will stand the test of time and stand for at least 20 years. And then this is how we identify the problem. Or most often, there are no substantial information produced. And so we have to move through this information so that the buildings will be designed properly and will be standing safely. And these uncertainties will also, if we don't have these solutions or we don't have these informations, these uncertainties will cause a lot of sleepless nights to designers and building owners. This is not a good way or a situation to be in. And so since we have identified this problem, we have now to solve this problem. And that is to break this information about the ground on which the building would stand. Just like with SM Lanang, we have to know what's under the ground before we can make the building. So the second ingredient is solve the problem. Okay, once the problem is identified, the next step is to develop the solution. This involves a deep understanding of the target customers. Simple mga pang-oring kakaisato natin who has these problems where we can solve. And for this solution, we have to have this great and innovation. You have to create something that was not there, and you have to use something and innovate to address the problem. And it should be user-friendly and scalable. And so my journey on problem solving began. The input during those days was annoying, and I dug deep and exerted a lot of effort to understand about problematic soils. And I started reading a lot of materials, of books, journals, and attended conferences and seminars related to problematic soils. At that time, we were just a very small single proprietorship company. We cannot afford to buy equipments and drilling machines and laboratory equipment, and importation was beyond our reach. We have so little financial resources that it is just enough to coast by. Kung sa Bisaya, inato lang ginagmay. Sa Tagalog proper, ano lang yung meron. So, with the new things that we had, we designed our own machine, bought scraps from the junkyard, and bought some second-hand machine parts, and started to assemble our own drilling machine and make our backyard laboratory. Then we began to gather soil information here and there, solve the problems here and there, with only one drilling machine. But with that one drilling machine and a very small equipment that we have and laboratory equipment inside the backyard of our house, we have this confidence that we know what we are doing. And so we have this confidence and we started to gain traction, albeit slow but sure. One building project at a time, one problem solved at a time, and that is enough for us. The solution we provided was called soil investigation or geotechnical investigation. Consequently, every time there was a need to conduct soil investigation for body buildings, not because it is required by the building code or the PPWAs, but it simply addressed the need to bury what was under the ground so that the end user will see it like adobe when his building will start to be constructed. During the 1990s, we pioneered the soil testing services here in Davao and nearby provinces. Many knew that our company is building the solutions and we created our own brand. In short, we were gaining momentum and the people began to understand the services and the importance it made. Noon, they're saying, what is that? Ano ba yung soil investigation? Ano ba yung geotechnical investigation? That every time an earthquake happens, every time there's a calamity, then they call us to determine what are the behaviors of every location in the country. The third ingredient is monetize the solution. You have identified the problem, you solve the problem, and you monetize it. The rewards of being an effective problem solver will always be attractive financially. Most especially when the solution to the problem solved is finally beneficial to the client. When you provide people the best solution, then you will always have the smile of your clients and they will allow you to profit handsomely. And that time with that, they will become your number one fan and promoter through their friends and associates. In the early mid-2000s, when cell phone technology entered the Philippines, giant telecom companies Globe and Smart were in a hurry to construct so many cell sites around the country, and we need soil information before they can construct these towers. So we were very, very lucky and very, very fortunate that we were able to be part of this golden era of telecom construction. So from the southern Luzon to Visayas and Mindanao, we were able to do soil investigation or geotechnical investigation. 30,000 plus cell sites of Smart and 1,800 plus for Globe until the end of 2012. And because of that, we scaled up and built more equipment and increased our capabilities on our laboratory. And we are very thankful for that. And because of that, we were able to expand our engagement and our knowledge, not only to cell sites, but also to bridges and all the bridges from the southern part of Luzon going to Mindanao. This type of bridges, the bullet roads or the bridges for different locations in the country. So we have looking for the problem, We have solving the problem and we monetize the problem. That another component that we need, their ingredient that we need for a successful business is we need to scale up the solution. As we were serving those problems, innovation and continuous advancement are indispensable for the company to grow. So from cell sites to bridges, to flyovers. Okay, we did that. Facilities to high-rise buildings. This is a very common project. Port facilities and offshore structures, industrial plants, mining sites, power plants, oil plants, real properties. The rise of the Mantarasos and Supu needs a lot of solutions for very complex problems. Nonetheless, as the problem becomes more complex, the financial rewards are becoming very, very attractive. What's the reason? If you're trying to solve a very small problem or a very easy problem, then a lot of people can solve it. And rewards will be proportionately small. But if we will be solving difficult problems, complex problems, one, we can monetize it and monetize it big time. So, as we develop ourselves specifically in our technical problem-solving skills, along with our negotiation skills, management skills, lahat na we have to develop. One of the core values of our company is advancement. And this means that everyone is considered a never-ending learner. Lahat hindi humihinto na pag-develop sa kanyang sarili. And he is expected to develop himself. This is true. After almost 20 years in the business and after establishing engineering companies from nothing, I came from a very poor family. I decided to pursue my doctorate in geotechnical engineering, which was 20 years ago when I was 50 years old already. I went back to school and after that, I finished it 5 years later. And to make the long story short, we keep on moving forward. We keep on moving forward, learning and advancing, and everyone in the company will always be considered a never-ending learner. So we scale up. And then when we try to solve problems, along the way, as we solve a problem, we were again to solve another problem in the building of bridge appeals. And as an offshoot to that, we were able to build a third company, which is to produce a modular segmental block system, which was used in the Davao Crystal Road bridge appeals and the Tagum flyover. And this has gained so much traction already, and we were able to supply products which is born out of our scaling up and advancement all over the place in Davao. So these are the projects. So what's next? We're now moving into AI, and moving into AI will be louder. So as a parting shot, because my time was up already, solving problems, this thing, looking for a problem, solving the problem, monetizing, and scaling up is not exclusive to technical peoples and engineers like me. The spirit of this philosophy can be applied all of us and everyone seated in this room who wanted to be successful in business and life. Thank you for your kind attention.